I think that for the new German white paper, we can primarily expect continuity. This will not be any paradigm change in German security policy, nor will it be a turning point in the evolution of Germany's strategic culture. It's important to keep in mind that the constitutional framework will remain exactly the same, which also implies the predominant role by the German parliament in the process of deploying the Bundeswehr, and also the political constraints will remain the same. That said, we can still see a development in Germany's engagement in the world, which is not necessarily related to the white paper. But what will be interesting to see is whether this white paper will help to embed this development of German engagement into a more strategic approach, as opposed to simply reacting to crises in Europe's neighborhood. First of all, in terms of numbers, you can see that the defense budget will increase over the next years. And also, as has recently been decided, the Bundeswehr as such will grow. 7,000 soldiers are to be recruited in the near future. That's in terms of numbers. Then secondly, when you look at what Germany is actually doing, you can see increased military engagement. You can name Mali, for instance, but even more importantly, from a Berlin view, is the German engagement in NATO's reaction to Russia's annexation of Crimea. That is all the reassurance and deterrence measures on the alliance's eastern flank. There, Germany is, for instance, very active in the setting up the VJTF, but also in all these exercises taking place in the area. And very recently, Germany has also offered to serve as framework nation in a NATO battalion group in Lithuania, details of which will have to be decided at the upcoming NATO summit in Warsaw in July. But this is a clear sign of Germany's willingness to engage there, while at the same time it's also important to note that Germany really stresses the relevance of the 1997 NATO-Russia Founding Act still being respected. First and foremost, the obstacles are political. As you know, in Germany, it's not only the government that has to be convinced of military intervention, but also the parliament, and military engagement and intervention remains a highly controversial issue that is also extremely controversial within the population, meaning that it really is an issue, especially at times when elections are coming up next year. Secondly, of course, the engagement that we've already seen now has put the Bundeswehr under strain. There are capability issues, but also personnel issues, and a certain fatigue. And then thirdly, I think it's also important to keep in mind that with the MINUSMA in Mali, this operation, this somehow marks the return of Germany coming back to United Nations missions with large numbers of countries involved. And currently, the sense in Berlin is more that this is a very difficult operation that is not, well, I wouldn't say going badly, but that is very, very difficult, and that cooperating with all these countries, which are not NATO countries and not EU countries, can sometimes be very difficult. And I think that the general impression of that operation in the public, but also among the parliamentarians, will be very important for future engagement. Also keeping in mind that the United Nations has asked Germany to be more active in the years to come within this sort of operation. So the outcoming of MINUSMA will probably be very relevant in that context.